Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Delirium League 3.10. In this episode, I'm going to go over another budget version of the Golem build. Here we go. Let's show this. So, we have our Golem budget build recommended for beginners. This is what I would recommend for a very well thought out, well put together budget build. So what I started with in this budget build, so this is the stone golem build, but I made it even better. Okay, so the first thing is we're using cold iron points now. This gives 3 levels to all physical spell skill gems, and so the stone golems count and they get an extra 6 levels. So what I did is, in the budget build, cold iron points are like 3C, so you put these in and you use you put your stone golems in a 6-link body armor, so like a tabula rasa, for example, and you put this. Okay, so these are all just basic level 20 gems, except for the 1 level of the stone golems, pretty important. Okay, so what I started with was the cold iron points, because I was like, yep, that's really broken, and it's going to be a lot of power. Look, 440,000 from the 1 cold iron point. And then I was putting together this skill tree, and I said, I don't want to put any cluster jewels in the build either. So I did the normal pathing, get as many jewels as possible, get my golem commander. I wanted most of the minion stuff, so we got to get this, we got to get grave packs, we have to path all the way around on the outside. In this case, since we're going to path up to the golem commander, I can get death attunement for the extra Spectre too. We are not running Primordial chain in this build, and I will show you guys how this actually works. So path down here, get all this, so many jewel sockets. Okay, so even the jewels, I used really bad rolled, like middle roll harmonies. I just took the average harmony, which is the middle of each one, and put that in the build. So I could put the worst one and it would still be pretty good, but this is with the worst rolled jewels, or like the middle of the pack rolled jewels, I mean. Okay, so the point is, I was trying to get tons of damage, more than before. So our old build was 800,000, and I wanted to have a better build than that. So what I did is the 2 cold iron points, and then the jewels, and we don't have cluster jewels this time, no large cluster jewels. Okay, so the major difference is what I did with the rest of the build. So imagine that the reason it was only 800,000 in the budget build before was because I ran the Primordial chain. So if you don't run the Primordial chain, you can actually, so I put the Chaos Golem with Maim and Feeding Frenzy, so I have these 2 extra buffs. So just as an example, if you didn't have the Maim and the Feeding Frenzy, 1.25, so just having that Chaos Golem with Feeding Frenzy and Maim is gigantic. The second thing is we have Spectres and Animate Guardian in the build. So Spectres, we get an extra Spectre, we have 2 from the level of the gem, so we'll have 3 Spectres. We can have a Carnage and Host Chieftain to max out the Frenzy and Power charges, also very big in the build. More about the Frenzy charges than it is about the Power, because they don't have very good crit. But Spectre setup, and you can run your Animate Guardian with Kingmaker and all that. Obviously those items aren't as budget, but they're still very cheap. And you can have a level 10 corruption of vulnerability on your Animate Guardian's glove, so you have an automatic vulnerability curse as well. And the auras, I only run Dread Banner, Pride, Purity of Elements, and we don't run any mana reservation in the budget build. So I just kept it pretty simple. Now I'll mention the things that are obvious or aren't obvious. So this is 1.6 million damage, and you have only 5 stone golems. So this is 8 million DPS. This is really sick. This is amazing. I really like this. This is hilarious. 8 million damage with such a budget version. This is just the jewels, shitty rolled, and 2 cold iron points and the gems. So the next point is I gotta point out this stuff. So with this is only level 78, so we still have 22 levels and 22 points left in the build, just to throw that out there. Okay, 22. Yeah, you heard me. So then the next thing is we don't have a helmet, a body armor, a glove, boot, amulet, 2 rings, or a belt. So you can square up your chaos resistance, your reses, get life, maybe get strength, dex, the stats you need for the build to square it up. But this is just to show you how to get 1.6 million damage per stone golem with 8 stone golems. And I quickly have to do the ratio for the attack speed. Give me a second. So just to show this. So they only have multi-strike on them. You don't have awakened multi, so it should only be 3 attacks. So then it's 3.25 attacks per second. So this should be the how fast you're attacking, and this is because of the frenzy charges. So if you didn't have the frenzy charges, it would only be 2.73, and then it looks really correct. So 1 sec, 3 divided by 2.73. The point is to see what the cooldown of the skill should be. So apparently, even if I didn't have thing, I shouldn't be running this many eminence because I don't have awakened multi. Okay, that's probably way better now. 2.32 and 1.09. Let's check. 3 divided by 2.32. And the cooldown is 1.29. So we could probably run one more, except for the fact when you get your frenzy charges. 1.58. You see how that works, and then it raises it to 2.83. So let's check. 2.883. 1.06, and the cooldown's longer, so we should have one more harmony. Okay, so apparently in this budget build I'm running 8 harmonies with the frenzy charges and no eminence. So the build is 8 harmonies, a primordial might, and an anima stone, and that's because we're running the frenzy specters, carnage chieftain, host chieftain. Nice. So that's the overall thing I figured out. 1.54 million with 5, so just under 8 million DPS. This is more than our old one. Our old build was 800,000 with 8 golems, and so you would have 6.4 million. This is more damage with less items. So the old one needed the primordial chain perfectly rolled. It needed perfectly rolled harmonies. You don't need perfectly rolled, and it just uses some simple cooldown points. So this is way easier, way more budget. I like this way better of a recommendation. This was after doing the solo self-found hardcore, like really thinking about the like beginning with no currency, really poor, what can you do? And yeah, here you go. And then, oh, this was the crazy part, or one of the crazy parts I found. Regen, 726. You only had 2,500 life, which obviously you get the rest through the items. And 22 points in the skill tree. And let's just say if you were level 100, yeah, you'd gain an extra 600 life just for that, not counting the points. So that's my point. So the order of the Ascendancy goes like this. You get Liege of the Primordial into Elemancer, and then you get Paragon of Calamity, and then you get Pendulum of Destruction. The flasks, I use the same flasks I used in my main build. I used 2 Curse Immune. You don't need 2. This could be something else, but because you're an elementalist, you're immune to elemental ailments, so I just have Curse Immune, and then Bleed Immune. And then we run the 8 harmonies, 1 anima stone. We run Primordial Might so that you have aggressive golems without needing to run Feeding Frenzy on the actual stone golems, which is really cool. We just run it on the Chaos Golem for the extra buff. And then we get the extra golems through anima stone because we have so many Primordial jewels. And wow, it's just so crazy that this is it. And then some people would ask, oh, what could you do next? Well, potentially getting in a Sakawal's Nest and running Avian and running the extra mana reserve on the skill tree so that you don't have to do that. And then maybe switching in a large cluster jewel like my main build. Run one of those large cluster jewels, get a rock. So I'll show you here. When you actually look at your stuff, Stone Golem, you look at his Slam. You'll notice that the impale chance is only 70, and that means that you could get 30% more before this is like thing. So just as an example, if you had this, then the calculation goes to 73. So just the aura effect from the skill tree can get you percents into Impale because of your Dread Banner. And imagine if you got it to 80 and then you run one large cluster jewel with Rotten Claws, 20% Impale, and boom, you have yourself 100% chance to Impale. And why would you want that? It's so imagine with 70%, here I'll show you a calculation that you probably haven't thought of, because it's kind of cool. So imagine how Impale works is it takes 5 stacks on enemy. How do you get the stacks on enemy? The monster has to attack 5 times. So here I'll give you some quick things. So imagine you have to hit 5 times, and you can hit 2.63 times a second. So it'll take you 1.9 seconds to get the 5 stacks. But you have to divide by 0.7 because you only have 70% chance. So now it's going to take you 2.71 seconds. And instead of 5 hits, it would take you 7.14 hits. So on average, you're taking 2 more whole hits to get the stacks fully stacked, and then you're finally hitting the Impale. And even then, you're not always going to hit the Impale because you're missing. So you can tell how it really messes up the Impale calculations when 30%, it's like a multiplier, right? It's a multiplier. So if you, yeah, it'd be really nice to have 100%. So that's why you work towards the large cluster jewel with the Rotting Claws, and you also get the aura effect usually. Like my main build has 100% Impale chance, PogChamp. But yeah, I just want to throw this out here, put this out for the community, for anyone who doesn't know how to build the most budget version of the golems, where it's like insane power level, and it's honestly so goddamn cheap, it's insane. How are these oh my god. Buff zombies. Yeah, buff zombies. Okay, hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for coming to this video. Hope this could help anyone for the new season. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for all the support. Thank you. What the hell, my league? Well, yeah, I got to my promo, so I'll be recording that soon too. I got to my Gold 2 promo, PogChamp, so easy. Okay, there we go. So I'd like to thank my Patreon and my YouTube members who financially support the channel. Thank you so much for all the support. I can't do this without you guys. And thank you to anyone new who joins the Patreon or the YouTube members today. And thank you to my 61 subs on Twitch. You guys are so generous. Bye!